Bonjour tout le monde, c'est Madame Grotal ici. J'espère que tu vas bien avec vous. Maintenant, on va commencer avec nos leçons en français 3. Le premier leçon que nous avons, ça c'est les spelling change verbs. C'est leçon 1.1 et spelling change verbs ici. Okay. So this is our first lesson in French 3 and it's lesson 1.1, spelling change verbs. Maintenant, ces verbes, en général, ils sont les verbes en ER. Okay, so these are normally, these spelling change verbs are verbs in ER. And what they have are slight spelling changes. The endings are all the same. They're conjugated like normal ER verbs, but they have slight spelling changes kind of in the middle of the words that you'll see. So they're not quite irregular and they're not quite regular. Just a quick recap, to conjugate an ER verb, you take off the ER and you add the endings E, ES, E, ONS, EZ, ENT, just to recap on that. So these require spelling changes in certain forms of the present tense. They usually reflect variations in pronunciation or are made to avoid a change in pronunciation. So there are a couple different types of these spelling change verbs. So the first type is verbs that end in GER, okay? So this is like, for example, the verb voyager. You'll see how it ends in GER right here. So the way that we conjugate this verb is we add an extra E before the ONS ending of the new form. So you guys have actually seen this before. So this is the way this verb is conjugated. Je voyage, just like normal you would think. Tu voyages, ES, right? Il, elle, on, voyage, so ES, just like normal. Now comes the change. This is voyage with an E. We add that E, ONS. And then the VU form is normal. So this is made to keep the sound of this word the same. So if we didn't put this, it would be voyagon, but not. If we put this E, it's voyageons. So voyage, 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 voyageons, voyager, and voyage. All right, so that's the first type of verb. That is a spelling change. Other verbs that are conjugated in the same way or that follow the same pattern. So this is to travel. Okay. To move. To bother. Like bothering me or something. To eat. To share. To dive, as in swimming or scuba diving, any kind of dive. And then to arrange, to tidy up. Okay. Voyager, déménager, déranger, manger, partager, plonger and ranger. Je range ma chambre. I'm tidying up my room. Nous rangeons notre salle de cuisine. We are tidying up our dining room. Okay. The second type of verb that is a spelling change verbs are a verb that ends in CER. Okay, so in this type, the C becomes a C with an accent before the ONS ending. Again, this is to make sure that it sounds the same. An example of this is commencer. So it's an ER verb, so spelled the same way you would think. Je commence, tu commences. S. Il commence. I'm just going to write il for simplicity's sake. ES, E, ONS. Now, nous commençons. Vous commencez. Vous commencez. And il. Whoa, what happened? Sorry about that. Il commence. Ça va? All right, so words that follow this pattern are commencer, which is to start. Avancer is to advance. Effacer is to erase, like the board. You may have heard me say, puis-je effacer le tableau? Oui. Forcer is to force. Okay. Lance is to throw, as in a ball or something like. J'ai lancé le ballon. I threw the ball. Menacer is to threaten. This is here because it's actually in your book in this level. We talk about this, so this word is in here. To threaten, to place, and to replace. So, j'ai remplacé le lait après avoir bu. I replaced the milk after drinking it. Okay, so these are all following the same pattern here as commencer, where you put the C with the thing in the new form. Okay, next, you can see there's CER. Number 3, the Y in verbs that end in YER changes to an I in all forms except the nu and the vu. So now we're talking about everything but nu and vu. An example is envoyer. You've seen this one. This word is hard to pronounce. Harder to pronounce than it is to spell. J'envoie. Tu envoies. Il envoie. Nous envoyons. VOYONS. Vous envoyez. VOY. Easy. And then ils envoient. Excuse me. Envoy. Excuse me. VOIENT. Okay? Verbs that follow this pattern. Envoyer is to send. J'ai envoyé un email à ma mère. I sent an email to my mom. Balayer is to sweep. To sweep, as in like the floor. J'ai balayé par terre l'autre jour. I swept the ground the other day. Ennuyer is to annoy. To or bore, I guess either. Essayer is to try. Nettoyer is to clean. And payer is to pay. Okay? All right, so the next one. These ones follow, these ones to deal with accents, okay? So like acheter. Acheter has these funky accents. So there are no accents on the vous and the new form. So here's how it goes. J'achète. Tu achètes. Il achète. Nous achetons. No accent. Vous achetez. Hear how it sounds a little different, and ils achètent. Verbs that follow this pattern, that put this accented E on all forms except for the nu and the vous, are acheter, which is to buy, to bring, specifically someone, like j'ai amené mon petit ami avec moi au restaurant. I brought my boyfriend with me to the restaurant. This is to, élever is to raise, like to raise a child or an animal. J'ai élevé mon chien depuis depuis il était chinon. I can never say that word correctly. The word for puppy is chinon. Chinon, okay, something like that. But I raised my dog since he was a puppy. Emmener is to take someone. So this is to bring someone, this is to take someone. J'ai emmené, it's very similar to that. So it's exactly what they are. They're just to take and to bring. Lever is to lift. Or like get up. Je suis levé. If you went se lever, that's to get up. Okay. And then mener is to lead. And peser is to weigh. Ça pèse combien? Like how much does it weigh? As in like an object would weigh a certain amount. How much do those apples weigh, etc. How much does the television weigh? Okay, so those follow with the accents, just like acheter. Okay, we're almost done. Préférer. So préférer also is accents. See these two accents? These are verbs that with an accent on the second to the last E, and they're all conjugated like this. The accents move around. Je préfère. Watch, they go from like this. I'll erase it so it doesn't confuse you. They go like this. Tu préfères. Il préfère. Nous préférons. It's back to the original. Vous préférez. Back to the original again. They go this way. And then il préfère. Okay. Verbs that follow this. To prefer. To consider. To hope. Sorry. To possess. How do you spell possess? To repeat. / rehearse. Okay. Those all follow the crazy accent pattern of préférer. This is the last one, I think. All right, last one. So, certain verbs that end in EL, ER, or ETER, the last consonant of the stem is doubled in all forms except for the new and the vous forms. Example, appeler. So, j'appelle. Or je m'appelle. For example, you see this more often as je m'appelle. I don't know why my pen isn't writing. Okay, tu t'appelles. Or tu appelles. Il appelle. Nous appelons. Bad. Vous appelez. Ils appellent. Okay? And then jeter, you double the T. Je jette. Tu jettes. Il jette. Nous jetons. Okay? Vous jetez. Il jette. So this come really in play when you use these words in different forms and you need to use a stem. So for example, when you're using the imparfait and you want to use imparfait of jeter, you have to, and this is to throw, you have to remember to use the new form when using the imparfait and there's only one T. So like je jetais, and that would be the imparfait form. Same kind of thing happens when you're doing subjunctive. You would use the il form, so you have to remember to put two T's. That's, with these spelling change verbs, that's the kind of thing that you have to watch out for. So verbs that follow this kind of pattern, appeler, to call. S'appeler is to be called, right? To be called, like je m'appelle, il s'appelle, jeter, throw, like a ball. Appeler is to spell, okay? Comment ça écrit? Sometimes what people say, or comment ça appelle? On appelle ça comment? Like one spells that how? To plan, okay? Or, and then rappeler is to recall. This is to reject. And this is to renew. Okay, c'est tout. Good luck, guys.